Hey everyone! So today is St. Nick Day, and St. Nick actually morphed into Santa Claus. And so I thought I would take a few minutes to explain the historic man and then how he became known as Santa Claus that we know today. So let me scoop these out of the way. Hey everyone, you can see me now. So, Saint Nick was a man named Nicholas, and he was a bishop of the Catholic Church. So, that's somebody higher up in the Catholic Church, way back in the 300 AD area. And he lived in Asia Minor, which is now modern day Turkey. And he was known for giving gifts secretly to people in need. So what he would do, like there's an example of a story of three maidens, and they could not get married because they did not have what's called a dowry. And a dowry is not something that we do today in America, or there's a couple countries that might do them, but they don't really do that very much nowadays. But basically, the bride's family has to pay the groom's family money to marry each other. And so these three girls did not have enough money. So St. Nicholas, and there's a couple of things. Some say a chimney, some say a window, but we'll go with the chimney for the sake of Christmas. There was stockings drying by the fire. And so when he dropped the gold coins down the chimney, they fell into the stockings. And you get the idea of stockings hanging by the fireplace at Christmas. And we get presents and that kind of stuff at Christmas time in those stockings. So that's kind of the first step toward making this Santa that we know today. Um, he, the poor guy who he was getting money from, basically found out who he was, and Nicholas begged him not to tell anybody, but he did. And so he became known as the guy who gave. And so if people received a present anonymously, they would think that it was from Nicholas, and he became known as Saint Nick. And so today, what has happened is that there were stories written about this guy, and it got twisted, or some guy would write a fictional story, and then it got like inserted into it. So the idea began with Santa pulling a wagon through the sky, bringing presents to kids. Then it became a sleigh. And then Clement Moore in like 1823 wrote this poem. It's called The Night Before Christmas, and I can recite a little bit of it. It goes, "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Ma and I, like, they went to bed, and then he rose to a clatter, and he sprung up from bed to see what was the matter, and what to my wondering eyes it appeared but a sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer." And so the idea of Santa pulling a sleigh with reindeer got inserted into it. And then in 1949, they came up with the song Rudolph. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Have you ever heard that song? That now he became the head reindeer who leads the sleigh. So you've got all these little poems and stories that kind of have filtered in and kind of gotten rid of the original meaning. And I think it's kind of interesting. We call these things urban legends. They're things that people start saying and telling, and they're not true. So I always thought, and this is what I've been told and other people have told around the world, is that Coke was the one who gave Santa his red and white outfit. That is actually not true. When I was researching it, I found out that bishops in ceremonies wear red and white, and they have like this little fur cap and stuff on them. And so that's probably where they got these colors and how he is dressed. And I thought that was very interesting. I didn't even know that myself. So basically, what happens today is that Santa will either come the 24th at night. So children will go to like church, and then they will come home and Santa will have visited them. In my family, Santa Claus always came December 25th on Christmas Day. So we would lay out cookies and milk. We would write a letter to Santa and tell him what we wanted. And then we would put it by the fireplace. And the next morning when we woke up, there would be presents in the stocking and presents under the tree behind us. And that's kind of how I grew up. I have chosen not to celebrate Santa as a Christian. And the thing that I don't like about Santa nowadays is that he's become godlike. So if you've ever heard the song, um, he knows if you are sleeping. He knows if you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. I don't like that because that has godlike qualities. And so I was worried that my children would say, well, Santa's not real. So when is Jesus not real? And so I have personally chosen not to do Santa. And a lot of people are kind of turned off to Santa. A lot of people still do it though. So we kind of go both ways. I hope that helped you. This is a huge topic and I just did a little video on it, but I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.